The Oikeiosis method. Marcus Aurelius was one of the most powerful emperors of Rome. He commanded armies and ruled over millions. He faced plagues sweeping across the Roman Empire, invading armies on every border, political betrayal, a dying wife, a rebellious son, and a collapsing economy during his reign. Yet his journals show that he managed to stay calm in the face of all this adversity. In this video, we're going to explore 7 secrets that Aurelius used to honor the Oikeiosis method by applying it to his everyday life. This ancient wisdom outlines a practical way to master your emotions by neutralizing the power that problems have over you. So keep watching if you want to learn how to become as unbreakable as Aurelius was, no matter what life throws at you. Towards the end of this video, you'll find a very practical technique that can be used to empower yourself. By practicing this every day, you will be able to overcome any problem in the same way that Aurelius did centuries ago. Secret 1. Speak real words. Aurelius reserved private moments for himself every morning, which he used to run powerful programs through his mind. This special practice helped him face his fears and calm his nerves as he planned the day ahead. His stress management techniques built the emotional resilience to face the pressures he faced on a continual basis. One phrase he turned into a universal mantra for positivity was, "You have power over your mind, but cannot control outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This idea has become a modern wisdom that contemporary psychologists agree is a fundamental key to success. Aurelius's leadership was fueled by these morning meditations. The affirmations fueled him enough to cope with the continual problems that his high-pressure role in life warranted. It's no accident that one of the most powerful yet calmest leaders of the old world lived through one of the most chaotic times in history. Lucky for us, as a testament to the power of journaling, he wrote a lot of his thoughts down, some of which have turned his personal process into shareable knowledge that we can still benefit from today. His empowering truths still matter as much to us all in today's hectic lives as they did to him and his peers in the past. And this is why his wisdoms are so timeless to us now. Secret 2. Get out of the storm. Marcus Aurelius taught himself a skill we rarely practice, the ability to step outside your thoughts and look back into them as an objective observer from the outside. When chaos hits, most people have no idea how to cope and end up becoming part of the problem by fueling the storm. Yet Aurelius learned to observe what was happening so he could learn from the lessons each problem provides. One of the ways he would do this was to remind himself, these are just impressions, not facts. This tiny piece of logic proved enough to detach from the trappings of most problems. So bear in mind, if someone insults you, that's just their opinion, a subjective impression, not actually a fact, not by any true standard. You can't know exactly what they meant by it from their personal perspective, nor will you understand what personal issues drove them to that conclusion. So how can their opinion of you from their own private mind, ruled by their own problematic world, ever truly matter to anyone other than themselves? By definition, that opinion really is their own problem to deal with and fester upon, not yours. That's why worrying about what others think, say or do is pointless. No amount of sympathy or concern on your part will ever prove them right, or their views to be true. So don't bother to entertain someone else's ideas. They belong exclusively to them, and that's the way it should stay. You'll never occupy their body and live their life to understand what your life looks like from the confines of their random position in the world. So let them waste as much of their own life as they like, thinking whatever they want about you. Learn to take every moment someone else thinks about you as a compliment, even if they're angry, negative, or insulting. For every moment they spend thinking about you is energy being sent your way to fuel your existence one way or another. And likewise, every minute you waste thinking about others is a precious moment of your life spent on someone else's existence. This is how life minutes become hours, and hours turn into days, until you learn to accept that time, attention, and life energy is your most valuable asset. Life is far too precious to allow a single moment of time, attention, or energy to be stolen from you. Money, goods, prospects, and opportunity can all be replenished, but minutes, seconds, and hours can never be reclaimed. So stop the habit of weakness right now to claim back every second of your sacred life. By acknowledging how unique your own life experience is, you will be able to relish every process and interaction you extract from the world. When traveling, if you suddenly hit unsurmountable traffic, that's something you cannot change. You have no power to clear your path, so consider it for what it is, just an unchangeable situation, impressing itself upon the canvas of your life story. The moment you let unchangeable circumstances stress you out, your self-inflicted frustrations form a prison for your mind. Do you see how saying these things out loud help the logic to reveal itself? Your intelligent mind knows the truth as soon as you admit their lack of worth in your life. Deadlines, arguments, and unforeseen variables are all external events that can't be controlled. So don't feed them or turn them into facts that form your reality. Random events are shared worldly experiences for everyone to navigate however they choose. Embrace this truth. Learn to let issues and problems come and go as insignificant consequences. Anything you cannot control should make no difference to your true life path. Learn to preserve your cool by culturing a calm demeanor that resides within you, like a positive aspect of your personality. To stay calm in the face of adversity, Aurelius learned to pause. Literally stop, wait, observe, and think things through. This type of pause between stimulus and response allows your psyche to observe from a safe place between them both, looking in from the outside. Aurelius used this technique to determine which stimuli would trigger different predictive responses. This led to his realization that despite being opposing forces, stimulus and response were intrinsically connected, as if they needed each other to exist and validate each other. Stepping aside to avoid being sucked in, he was able to interpret the entire situation intelligently, without necessarily suppressing his true emotions or human nature. So why not use this type of pause to your advantage? When things get on top, don't overreact and explode. Pause for a second. Detach yourself from the moment. Think, breathe, count to 5, and learn to assess the situation for what it really is. The problem is a stimulus. Your reaction is a response. If you let one trigger the other, you will likely come off worse, if not lose the plot altogether. Get a grip, take charge, and use your ability to pause, reflect, consider as your own secret superpower. Only then can you evaluate the situation well enough to determine the best approach. The most effective way to respond would equate to the least damaging reaction you can have, which more often than not will simply mean you refrain from reacting at all, or if you must, don't do so without meaning or logic. Secret 3. Repackage the chaos. Aurelius used this technique centuries before modern psychologists called it reframing. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed, he said. This simple phrase reminds us that a lot of the traumas of life only hit as hard as you let them, because the impact that most issues have upon us really depend on the mindset we use to deal with them. By realizing how many problems can be defused, by reframing them into empowering endeavors, Aurelius was able to turn his victim mindset into a more objective perspective, the simplest form of which is encapsulated by the idea that every cloud has a silver lining. Everything happens for a reason, whether that be a life lesson, a karmic exchange, or the cancellation of a soul debt on some other level. Perhaps even the facilitation of some greater cosmic working, which seems invisible to us at the time that it occurs. Everything has a reason for transpiring, good, bad. The most practical demonstration of this is how much simpler everything would be if instead of thinking this is unbearable, you could invert that thought into believing that whatever seems unbearable is actually your training. Aurelius did this. He suggested that instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we effectively neutralize that poor me syndrome by reframing the question into, "How can I use this to my advantage?" This is one of the secrets to how Aurelius turned chaos into fuel that motivated him. Instead of "everything is falling apart," Aurelius would say, "Nature adapts all things to benefit the whole." This mindset alone is enough to turn the most unexpected disruption into a profound and relevant source of teaching. He used this attitude to turn life obstacles into interesting exercises, which practically converted the power of a bad mood into a valuable skill set that would enable him to remain calm. Secret 4. view everything from above. Whenever he felt overwhelmed, Aurelius practiced a ritual he called the view from above, which in Greek translates to Oikeiosis. By imagining himself rising above the city, then above the empire, then above the earth itself, he managed to make all of his problems appear tiny from that great height. In fact, this form of visualization proved so effective that he was able to reframe some of his biggest problems as laughably small, especially in comparison to this new godlike perspective he'd assumed on the matter. Aurelius's journals show that he wrote, "Consider how small you are and how short the time remains. And herein lies the magic formula. When you zoom out so far that the argument you had this morning appears no greater than a grain of dust in your life, the issue becomes irrelevant against the vast vista that the true nature of your magical existence entails. This protective measure allows you to compartmentalize those grains of dust, making them become disempowered and silent enough to be forgotten instantly, allowing you to stop over-caring about those insignificant specks of dust that hinder your otherwise shiny existence. This in itself is enough to highlight that the person who judged you so badly should have forgotten those thoughts about you by tomorrow, especially if they're being buried beneath their own piles of pointless dust. And whatever annoying surprise ruined your day was just another insignificant blip on the landscape, a pointless speck of dust compared to the more important issues you should be spending your good energy on. Zooming out like this, whenever you're stressed, is a very simple yet powerful coping mechanism. So use it as often and as much as is necessary to detach from the suffocating oversaturation of problems, as and when they arise. Secret 5. Only fix what you can. Release what you can't. Aurelius separated the internal dynamics and external forces of life into two main categories. 1. What you control, and 2. What you don't. Most chaos comes from mixing them up. You can only control your actions, intentions, effort, and interpretations or responses. You cannot and never will control what other people think, want, or do, outcomes to situations, the weather, the past, and random acts of God or nature. When facing chaos, Aurelius wrote, "Do what is in your power, accept what is not." This was his inner shield. Imagine carrying that shield with you every day. How much lighter your life would feel. Secret 6. Be still, stay within. For Aurelius, calm was an internal alignment rather than an external silence. He wrote, "Nowhere can a man find a more peaceful retreat than within his own soul." This is what you can practice today. 1. Slow your breath with a long inhale and a much longer exhale. 2. Acknowledge what you're feeling, whether that be, "I'm overwhelmed," "I'm fearful," "I'm tense." 3. Observe that feeling without judgment. The feeling is here, but it's not me. This feeling is the result of external circumstances. 4. Now, return to the present moment and acknowledge that right here, right now, you are fine and physically safe. No mundane external circumstances, opinions, or uncontrollable events should physically harm you. Stillness is your key to understanding this, and awareness of these facts form the formula you need to dissolve chaos at the root of its annoyance. Secret 7. Strive for calmness. Aurelius's calm was not accidental. It was consciously engineered. He built his defenses upon a daily ritual of the reinforcement habits this video explores. The last of which went something like this. Morning reflection is essential to prepare the mind. Evening reviews are most useful to identify the lessons learned from the events of each day. Identifying which incidents have the potential to become triggers will help to determine which rational actions you can use to calm your emotional responses. This process is vital to avoid unnecessary forms of overreaction. Striving for calmness forms a program of belief that is designed to encourage a steadfast discipline that can withstand anything that life can surprise us with and help to overcome it. And let's be realistic. If all this worked for the most burdened man in the ancient world, it's very likely it will work for you. Now for the bonus part of the video. As promised, here's the secret sauce you can use to gift yourself with a powerful daily practice that can fire up the mojo that may have dwindled over time. Sit still for 30 seconds. Imagine your entire day sketched along a timeline or circled on a calendar. Now, zoom right out to measure its significance within your entire life path. From way up high, we're talking 10,000 feet up. From these dizzy heights, look back at the problem. From beyond the clouds, where the sky is always clear and glowing bright, in the rays of a beautiful warm sun, everything should seem clearer. Everything makes sense and all the noise becomes quieter. Make this powerful visualization part of your own special routine that you can call upon at times of need. Tap into it at crucial or stressful moments in your life that may not be controllable to help you overcome them. Register this high and mighty technique as your rightful position over small life problems. Consider how insignificant these problems truly are in the scheme of things. Realize that these specks of dust are only as powerful as the energy you inject them with. Use this elevated, soaring consciousness to put everything in its rightful place. Acknowledge each problem's reason for being part of the order of things, whether random, accidental, or intentional. Use this heightened perspective to claim ultimate control over everything. Deny every petty speck-like problem the right to demand your attention. Don't allow them to claim any more of your time than is absolutely necessary to acknowledge and dissolve them. Don't let them aggravate your mind, stress you out, absorb your energy, or rob any more of your vital life force than you care to bless them with. Once everything is clear in your mind from this global perspective, the world and your place within it, or above it, will make more sense. Allowing all the tiny, inconsequential issues play out their pitiful existence in a much calmer way, and hopefully for the better. So what have you got to lose? Try this out, see if it works. Embrace the power of the ages, that modern schooling or contemporary life won't teach you. And if all goes well and any of these techniques serve you, make a regular practice of it. To conclude, Aurelius knew the world would never calm itself for his own convenience. He was also wise enough to realize that no matter how hard he tried, he'd never tame the wildness of nature to bend to his will. Nor could he control the randomness of universal forces to satisfy his needs. His high-ranking position with so much responsibility made him a primary target for stressful situations to attract to. And it seems, as soon as he accepted that he would never be able to stop or control the chaos of life, he found the resolve to interpret it wisely. By rising above the chaos high enough to see clearly, he worked out how to handle every aspect of life in completely viable human ways. This became his secret to finding total peace on a personal and spiritual level, without trying to escape life or deny the majesty of its unfolding glory. This is how he determined it was much wiser to meet every challenge head-on with stoic calm and unshakable stillness, which only comes from the confident tranquility of understanding how to stop caring about what others think, say, or do. This is the unforgiving calm of Marcus Aurelius, and this is the level of impressive stillness and historical insight that you can use, claim for yourself, and call your own. For as long as you trust these timeless wisdoms enough to put them to work, by testing them yourself and using them whenever you need to. Living in accordance with nature means recognizing our interconnectedness and understanding that individual good is part of a much greater and grander universal good. So in all honesty, all that really matters is what we each do with our time and how well we conduct our own lives. This mutual respect for such a universal system of self-care will inevitably nurture wholesome attitudes that encourage holistic forms of self-sufficiency in us all. And this will hopefully advance amicable ways forward for humanity as a whole, in which we can strive to support each other from a much better place that better suits us all.